Hello, and how are you? It is Haley. I know my lighting is a little wonky because the sun did set, but I am here to talk to you about your Philadelphia Eagles and all of Philadelphia sports because I got a new microphone. I love podcasting, and I wanted to be able to talk a little Philly action with all of you. I think that the most important thing that we have going on right here is that we need the Eagles to win against the Seattle Seahawks on Monday. The Philadelphia Eagles are now 10-3. And the biggest problem that the Birds are facing is that the NFC is a tight competition. I think the Dallas Cowboys looked really good on Sunday's game. Obviously, they didn't allow the Eagles offense to score. So now there is a problem. The Philadelphia Eagles need to win the remainder of their games on the schedule this season. While it is possible, I am still a little bit worried because the Seattle Seahawks had put up 35 points against the Dallas Cowboys while the Birds couldn't put up anything offensively. It was special teams and obviously that defensive touchdown by Jalen Carter. The Eagles need to win. And if they don't win, there is a much bigger problem that needs to be addressed. There's a problem that I think speaks more about this team and the expectations that we had as fans compared to what we're seeing on the field. I went into this season completely transparent right here, thinking that the Birds were going to be this dominant team, that they were going to win these games and crush these other teams, and it would not be close. The fact of the matter is, the Birds went to 2 games in overtime. That is unlike the Philadelphia Eagles from last season, and that is what concerns me, is that this team, for whatever reason, is now a team that can't have these huge wins, which makes me question how they're going to do in the playoffs. I wouldn't feel comfortable going against the 49ers or the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think anyone should feel comfortable if that's the case. I think the Eagles are going to struggle if they're playing any of those teams. And that's the problem, is that last season I thought to myself, the Birds could play any single team and they will be successful. Now, on the other hand, I'm like, okay, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel confident about this because I don't know how successful the Philadelphia Eagles will be, frankly, playing against any of these teams. I thought to myself before the season begun, this will be a team that's going to get back to the Super Bowl. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be hungrier than they were last season because they were so close and they couldn't get the job done. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this team has the ability to get back there. And I think that's what's the most disappointing about this Philadelphia Eagles team is the disappointment from the expectations that we all had. We all thought Super Bowl or nothing. And right now, it's giving nothing. And if the Birds want to prove me wrong and they want to win the remainder of their games, win at least the NFC East division, fine. But you still need Dallas to lose. You still need San Francisco to lose in order to win the NFC in general, to get that bye week. I don't know, though. I think that this week the 49ers are going to be playing the Cardinals. I don't see them losing to them. Now, the following week, the Niners, they will be playing the Baltimore Ravens, so I could see them potentially, big potentially here, losing. But the fact that these two teams were able to really crush the Birds, it's not like it was a close win. They completely dominated and embarrassed the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that does make a big difference, okay? It's not like these games were close. They weren't competitive. It was more of a beatdown, if I'm going to be honest here. So I think that when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and sustaining more of a dynamic force, you're going to have to crush the Seahawks. There is no way that Eagles fans will get back on board if it is a close game. while a win is a win, and I know they always say, oh, it doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win. It does matter how you win, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles right now in their state, because they have really no dominant wins at all this season. Last season they did. And I think that is the difference, is that this is not the same team as last season. This team doesn't seem to want it more as last season. And quite frankly, I don't think this team deserves it as much as they did last season. When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, I am the first one to say Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. I've always been a huge Jalen Hurts supporter. Do I think he's regressed a little bit? Yes. Do I think it's due to injury? Yes. I don't think Hurts is a bad player, but I don't think he's made much improvement this season. Again, season's not done yet, but from what I've observed, I don't think that he's made much improvement. I think the coordinators in Sean Desai and Brian Johnson absolutely suck. Both of them are to blame. I think the defense looks like trash. I know people are getting on Brian Johnson about the offense. I think Sean Desai is doing an awful job with the Eagles defense. There is a lot of problems, obviously, when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and how they've been this season. So I don't think it's just a one person to blame. I think as a team, there is a lot that goes into it. But I don't necessarily think that the Eagles are going to go deep into the playoffs if they don't get their act together. And think about all the excuses we made. We always said, oh, well, it happens. It's early in the season. No, it's not anymore. Now it's to the point in the season where it's like, okay, this is bad. Panic mode is on. And I don't want to panic just yet, but I kind of am in a way. I'm like, okay, they're the first team to secure a playoff spot. I should feel good about that. They beat the Chiefs, but it's like, that was a close one. Even when they beat the Cowboys, that was a close one. Even when they beat the Bills, that was an overtime. You get what I'm saying? It just seems like this team, I don't know. And they went to overtime with the Commanders. I don't understand how any person can say that they feel uber confident about the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And if you do, please let me know in the comments, because personally, at this point, I don't feel great about them. I couldn't tell you that this is a team that I'm like, oh, I feel awesome about the Philadelphia Eagles. No, I do not. I feel kind of like the complete opposite, where I'm like, okay, I'm actually kind of worried about the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, that is just me. This was a bit of a long rant, but I wanted to come on here just to share those thoughts, because this team confuses me. I expect them to win against the 49ers, not the 49ers, against the Seattle Seahawks. But I think in the playoffs, what I was getting at, my thoughts were a little too fast for my words. I expect them to struggle if they have to play the Cowboys or 49ers in the playoffs again. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. Prove me wrong, Philadelphia. Oh man, it's going to be a long couple weeks.